We're on.
All right, Metal Summoners, thank you guys so much for tuning in. We are live here on the Metal Summit. This is your Island of Misfit Toys. We are so happy to have you guys, as always, kicking off your weekend in the middle of the week, because that's how we like to do it. We know that's how you guys like to do it. At times, Fridays are incredibly overrated. So on behalf of the Metal Summit, we've got Angel Alamo, we will have Bobby Dreyer, and I am here as always. And we are getting a little spooky tonight. We're getting a little creepy tonight. And we are really looking forward to talking to our good friend of the show. And we're going to bring him in right now. Evelyn's Casket is in the house, and we've got David Phantom joining us. Brother, how are you? And thank you.
Hey, I'm good and happy to be here. So thanks for having me. I've watched a good handful of interviews go live on this, so I'm pretty excited.
Absolutely. No, and we always appreciate your support, man, 100%. So we'll jump right into it. First and foremost, man, congratulations is in order for the continued success of Always Hollow.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Yeah, man. I am so stoked with how that song turned out, because I've wanted to do a song with fucking Brandel for many, many years, and I've wanted to do a song with Silent Horror even longer. So getting to live that dream, and then it's actually a good song. So yeah. Like that was actually like a huge plus, because yeah, I'm not gonna lie. When he was like, "Yep, I can do it right now," I was like, "I got a song for you," and he's like, "Really?" I was like, "Absolutely." He's like, "All right, I'll do it." I was like, "Sick! I need to write a song because I don't have one."
Nice. that's hilarious. So oh no, go ahead, David, please.
Oh yeah, we wrote, produced, and recorded that song all in like 1 month. We had 1 month to make it happen. So it was like 3 weekends of get-togethers, and then it's like, all right, here, Brandel, this is that song we totally had ready for you the whole time.
Oh, hell yeah, brother. So what so talk a little bit about your interest in Brandel and Silent Horror. Was it just from, because as many fans may or may not know, you of course are definitely going to know this, just like I know this, just being a fan of that band. They've gone through their fair share of ups and downs with lineup changes and different vocalists and stuff like that. And for anybody who's unfamiliar with them, they've got lots of great music out there, compilation albums. They just put out a great 4-song EP based off serial killers. That's really excellent. But anyway, what was it about working with Silent Horror and working with Brandel? Was it about his tone? Because a lot of people may not know that he was the longtime drummer that took over on lead vocals.
Yeah, Brandel has, as far as if I am remembering correctly, Brandel has always done the backing vocals on everything. So all the backing vocals have always been Brandel. And then, yeah, he was the original drummer. But yeah, I've been listening to Silent Horror since like, I want to say 2008. I found Beware on YouTube. I was in like 8th grade. And I found that like album cover that like, because I was really caught off guard, because like, if I'm being honest, like, the album cover looked like they did it on, like Windows Paint. So I was like preparing for something like super rough, and what I got was just the exact opposite. It was like so good for a DIY horror punk band, let alone like fresh out of high school kids, like I was in middle school, so I was like, oh, these are pretty much adults, they're probably like own houses and stuff. They're like 20, But yeah, for years. But I didn't really start getting to know Brandel until about 2020, I want to say, during like lockdown. And he gave me like a ton of advice about harmonies, and he's given me like so much advice on like running my band like a business, and like merch strategies, and like having like I cannot tell you how much advice he's given us. Like, he helped me set up my online store, and just like that dude is literally like has answered any question I've had. He's like, yeah, I got some advice for you. I can totally help you with that. So nice. Like, I just wanted to make a song with him because one, he's an amazing vocalist, and he's just such a good friend. So
absolutely. No, 100% for sure, man. So let's talk a little bit about yourself and Evelyn's Casket. Talk a little bit about the formation, the naming of the band, and what got you into wanting to put together a horror punk band or just a band in general.
Okay, so I've been listening to horror punk since I was about 11 years old. So I got into horror punk. I think the First horror punk song I ever heard was "Where Eagles Dare" by the Misfits, and then my friend showed me "Scream" right after that, and I was like, "Whoa, this guy's voice is so dynamic. He can like do two completely different voices, so good." And then so I like got in there like because for a while I didn't realize Graves and Danzig were two different people.
Sure.
I was just like, oh wow, his voice really changed all of a sudden. That's cool. Yeah, but yeah, I've wanted to do it ever since then, really, because it was just, especially when I first started learning, I really like was like, oh, I want to do horror punk because it was like, first of all, playing Misfits songs was like so easy, but it felt like so cool and like so spooky, and it was just like, oh, well, what do you guys do? It's like, is the music difficult? It's like, no, not necessarily, but it's really high energy, and there's like a lot of fake blood and like really cool looking clothes and stuff, and I don't know, I've just always loved it. I've always just I heard that and I was just like, this is what I want to do. Yeah.
Absolutely, man. 100% for sure. And what got you into playing guitar as opposed to like also singing, where did you want to do both, or did one kind of lead to the other?
Yeah, I never wanted to sing. I started as a guitar player. Yeah, when I was like 12 years old, I got a BC Rich Warlock. I think my mom had like traded a stereo or some shit to this dude at a pawn shop for like a really cheap bronze series. But yeah, I just wanted to be Doyle forever. Like all through like high school, I was just like, I just want to be Doyle, but I could never find like a singer. So it just I just started singing on my own, just because I was like, well, I can't find anyone who wants to do this, because I live in the Pacific Northwest, more specifically Washington, and like growing up, everyone here either wanted to be like, they wanted to do stuff that was like post-hardcore or deathcore, or they wanted to do like some shit like grunge or whatever. And I personally fucking hate grunge. If you like it, that's good for you. It's just like, but I just don't like it. Like, that's fine if you're, it was like, I think Nirvana is terrible. I think Alice in Chains is like okay. I know they're like big, impactful bands for some people, but they're just not my jam.
Sure.
And that's all people wanted to do out here, and that just wasn't what I was trying to do. So I just learned how to play acoustic guitar and just started practicing with myself until my neighbor said I didn't suck anymore, and then I started trying to do a band. And I couldn't really get like Evelyn's Casket is essentially the horror punk band that I wanted to make my whole life, because for a long time I just played guitar in a band called Hades Machine, which is my mentor's band. And yeah, I did that for like 6 years, and then I started up Evelyn's Casket with some friends, and originally we were trying to be like a very subtle horror punk band. Mm-hmm. Like we wanted to be something like in the vein of like Alkaline Trio or like The Epidemic or something, where it's just like no makeup, there's not real flashy clothes, there's just real like spooky undertones, and we wanted to do more like sad stuff than spooky stuff. Sure. And that was really me just like compromising. Because just like, if this is as close as I can get someone on board for it, then yeah, we'll do it. And even then, we didn't really do what we did now, because there was some songs that were in that band, but it was like I wasn't like singing, I was like screaming, because that's what they wanted. They wanted like a rougher, like screamy guy, and it was like we were trying to do something more like, I would say like Hot Water Music, or like really older Against Me. Like real like Broken Glass, poppier stuff. And it kind of just like, it was fun for a while, and then all of us kind of just at the same time had some like really big like really big life changes that were like, this just isn't feasible, like we have to deal with these shifts. And then it just never got picked back up. And then 2020 rolled around and I didn't have anything better to do, and I was like, you know what, fuck it, that was a fucking cool band name, and I thought those songs are great, and I was like, I'm just gonna do them how I wanted to do them with what I got, so I just DIY'd that little EP, and then shit just started rolling from there. Well, no, I gotta be honest, shit didn't really start rolling until I started working with Crowley from Deadly Distribution, and Howie did some tracks with us, Howie from Nimbin. And then people really, yeah, that's when people really started giving us a chance, was we did Black Light Waltz with Howie, and I am very grateful to Howie for giving us that opportunity and all that, and letting us have us on those songs and the record. But yeah, it's been so fucking cool, I ain't even gonna lie.
Awesome, man. That's awesome. So before I kick it up to Angel, so we can start getting the fans involved, talk a little bit about how 2022 went for you, because you had your East Coast tour that you guys played with Darker Days, and you also had Nikki Casket playing with you guys on that tour as well. So just
All right.
talk a little bit about kind of like a recap of how 2022 went for you guys, you know, and the tour and what your relationship was with Nikki and 5 Cent Freak Show.
Okay. So, all right. So I guess we'll start with my relationship with Nikki, because that came first. So originally, you can actually hear the first time me and Nikki ever spoke to each other. It's on his podcast. I think it's Creature Feature Radio. I think I'm the second or third episode. You can hear the first time we ever spoke to each other. And Crowley from Deadly Distribution set that up, and we did that. And I literally have just been talking about music and shooting the shit with Nikki on Messenger and on the phone ever since that day. And when we had that tour, the opportunity for that tour come up, I was, because we opened up first, and 5 Cent Freak Show didn't have an opportunity like that in the foreseeable future. And Nikki had jack shit to do, and he just helped us record that whole fucking record anyway. So it was like, why not bring him if he wants to go? So I hit him up and I was like, do you want to do this? And he was like, fuck, please, I'm so bored. And so we brought him with, and we had a fucking easily the best time of my entire life. It was awesome. We got to play with so many like legendary horror punk bands and hang out with so much people in the scene, and there was so much love, and like it was just such an experience. And the dudes in Darker Days are like the best people ever. Like I doubt I will ever I doubt I will ever tour with a band that we gelled with as much as we gelled with them, because I cannot make it up. It was like we all got in that van and all sat down, and a few minutes went by, and it was just like bam, just like that. All of a sudden we were family. Everyone was rolling all over each other, talking shit and blasting music and fucking raising hell, and there's just like food scraps flying everywhere. Like that van was fucking disgusting. Like we destroyed that van on tour. Like there was like 13 of us dudes in there, and there's just like smashed up Pop-Tarts everywhere, fucking beer cans, fucking, oh man, my underwear and all kinds of just crap. I remember we played Tennessee. We played this house show with Ghoulgasm. They put us up. They put the whole thing together. So big shout out to them too, because we wouldn't have got that stop otherwise. And Brandel and Brent from Silent Horror came and hung out, and Loki came and hung out too. And I remember Loki got in the van, and he was like, I couldn't remember. He was like, "This is your 6th tour date," and we were like, "Yeah." And he's like, "It looks like you've been inside this fucker for 6 months. It smells like shit in here." Just started like going off, and I don't know. It was hilarious, but yeah, that thing was the BBV. That's what we called it. The big black van. Yeah, it was a big black 15 passenger.
Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah, the Coffin Cat show we played, that was so fucking cool. Horror Punks USA booked us to do direct sport for Coffin Cats, and those guys fucking, they made everyone look like shit because they're the Coffin Cats, and they just have an insane fucking live show. Like, guy like balancing his upright bass on his head, or like standing on it while his buddy plays guitar on his shoulders, or some wild shit. Just they're just doing shit. We're just like, well, I'm never gonna learn to do that. That's just a lot. But they're killer. But yeah, it was rad. There were just like so many familiar faces, and I feel like and new, like people had flown from other countries. One guy came from New Zealand. Another guy had flown all the way from the UK. Another guy had flown out from Canada as well, just to see Nikki like play with us, because we had closed the night off with we did like Evelyn's Casket's version of like 5 Cent Freak Show songs with Nikki on vocals. So it was like, you got to hear those songs, like I would say, just like with that rockabilly, psychobilly element just totally removed. and we were doing all these like cool harmonies that they don't traditionally do in 5 Cent Freak Show, and I'd like added some guitar solos to songs that didn't necessarily have them, and we made it special, and it felt like it really paid off. Everyone had a good time, and we closed out the set with freaking Starlight Decay by Blitzkid.
Nice.
And we had like everyone who knew how to sing up on stage with us doing it, and yeah, it was rad. It was an awesome night. It was an incredible tour. We didn't lose money, and yeah, it was a fucking amazing time. Yeah, I don't know what else to really say.
That's sick, dude. Hell yeah, man. And so, and what would you and so how did so leading into 2023, how did 2022 wrap up for you?
Pretty damn good. That Blitzkid show we played was fucking insane. It was off the fucking hook. Goolsby and Tracy were so fucking nice to me, and everyone, we hung out like pretty much. If there wasn't like show going on, we were hanging out. Like that's just what it was, and they were super nice to us. And like I got to play bass in Blitzkid. That was really fucking cool. I'll never forget. Yeah, I will never forget that. And God, man, that was just such a damn good night. Yeah, little 8th grade middle school David was like definitely like, all right, you son of a bitch, you pulled through. So yeah.
That's awesome, man, for sure. Hell yeah. Angel, let's kick it up to you, brother. How you doing this evening, and how's everything looking on the Metal Summoner's Edge?
I'm awesome. I do have a horror question from Brian. If you could meet a deceased musician, who would it be?
A deceased musician? Ronnie James Dio, man.
Nice.
It would be Dio. Yeah, but like only if it's like I get to hang out, not like if it's like just some meet and greet shit, just like shake his hand, take a photo, like that'd be fucking lame. But yeah, like I might as well just go do that while he's still dead, just over at his grave, just like, what's up, dude?
Yeah,
all right, thanks.
The hologram shows that they've been doing.
That's so whack. They shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
it's
so weird.
Man.
Yeah, it is. You could just stay home and listen to the records.
Yeah, that or Johnny Cash. I feel like Ronnie James Dio would be really fun to me, but I feel like I would have like a lot of stuff worth talking about with Johnny Cash. That makes sense. That guy's got like, I feel like that dude has like some real advice for like every young man out there.
Yeah.
And
if you let me ask this: who would win in a fight today, Glenn or Michael?
In a fight today, Glenn or Michael? Well, they're both very short, which is fine.
Yep. So no one has a height advantage.
Yeah. Man, I gotta go with Danzig. I just feel like he's the only one who would be willing to actually fight. He's the only one we've seen footage of like actually throwing down. There's no like Glenn gets in a or there's no like Michael Graves got in a fight with so and so viral video or like Michael Graves got knocked out by so and so. No, because he just don't be fighting.
Yeah.
But Glenn Danzig, he's a crazy old man. He'll fight anyone, man.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
gotta go with Glenn. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Glenn. Yeah.
Speaking of horrifying, I'm horrified about this question. Ask Angel and Jay a question.
Oh shit.
Ask Angel and Jay a question. Who are your favorite current horror punk bands, and why are they your favorite? And you don't have to say my band. I genuinely want to know.
Angel, you want me to take the lead on this one, or do you want?
Yeah, you could take the lead on. It's best you take the lead on that one because I need a minute.
No worries, man. I mean, Blitzkid all day. / Argyle Ghouls being the Roving Midnight. Like, I legitimately love Steve's solo work. Like what he does on Darken Your Doorstep. back to Saturnalia of the Accursed, like just the way that he does more of that real macabre style, and his music videos are like mini movies and stuff like that.
Yeah. I might catch some grief for this, but I actually prefer all of his solo stuff to his Blitzkid stuff.
I think I might be with you on that. Like, don't get me wrong, like Blitzkid's in my blood, like in my
yeah.
But I personally have like a deep connection to what he does as like a solo artist. Like when I went to the Blitzkid show, like I brought my Accursed vinyl for him to sign. I bought, remember when he re-released the Dark in the Doorstep vinyls, but he did like a wooden album cover, if you heard about that.
Wait, like out of actual wood?
Out of actual wood, that he wood burned the logo into the front and the track list on the back.
Oh wow. Yeah, I totally missed that one. Yeah.
Oh, gotcha. But I brought the wooden thing, the wooden cover. He had the Eternal Live like vinyls that he did after Blitzkid did their second live stream. He had that on vinyl. So like my wall has got like so much vinyl on it that's signed by Ghouls, including, and this is funny, I won't go into like the details stuff. You're going to be aware of all this anyway, but for the fans, I can't really disclose a lot of stuff on this. But I've got the limited edition of the silent horror vinyls that they did, signed by Ghouls, Brent, and Brandel.
Oh, badass, man.
Yeah, so that's like super duper cool. So anyway, I really do love Blitzkid / Roving Midnight, with a little bit edge to Roving Midnight, because I connect really deeply to Goolsby's style. When it comes to horror punk, I mean, I ride and die also with the Misfits. I mean, I can't not have them in there, because they have to be there. I'm particularly partial to the Graves era. A lot of people know that about me. I was familiar with Danzig era Misfits songs, but I was still young at that time when they, because I grew up in the 80s, and that was kind of the lull time for the Misfits. So those songs would still pop up on the radio, whether it be Die My Darling, Last Caress, or stuff like that. So I was aware of this band, but it really wasn't until they relaunched with Graves in the early 90s and actually put out some MTV music videos and really embraced that horror punk look, because they were still more leather and jeans with Glenn.
Yeah, they were more like they were heavily like Ramones influenced, so that's what they wanted to be.
Yeah, it was dark Ramones kind of style, still with the devil locks, and Jerry had multicolored hair and still did his thick eye makeup and stuff like that. But yeah, still that Ramones kind of style. But then I'm watching, I'm seeing Dig Up Her Bones, and then they're doing a video that's being directed by George Romero, and I'm just like, fuck, man, like these guys are awesome. How long have they been around? Are they new? Then I realized that they had super been around, and I was watching them, and I was like, oh shit, okay, I know these songs, I know this band. Wow, they've technically been around for 20 years. Bitchin'. They had this dancing guy, because the funny thing is, I was already a fan of Glenn, but I was a fan of Glenn as a metal guy. I knew Mother and Twist of Cain and Lucifuge and How Gods Kill. Like that's what I know. In fact, I'm actually going to a meet and greet on Saturday here in Maryland, because John Christ is going to be there.
Oh, badass.
So
oh man, such a good guitar player.
Yeah, so that's super duper awesome. So I'm definitely going to go and bust out my records for him to sign. And as far as I know, I've been greenlit for an interview with him as well. So I'm actually really looking forward to talking to him for a couple of minutes.
Oh, awesome.
And so I've got my like original, I've got kind of my deep in my soul. And I love what Darker Days do. I love what you do in Evelyn's Casket, and I love what Nikki does in 5 Cent Freak Show. But I really have been gelling and connecting a lot with what silent horror is doing right now. I loved all their early compilation stuff, you know, and I've got the album that Steve was on with them. But I really loved Silver Screen. I thought that record was so cool, just rad, just semi-current horror movie songs back to like, you know, old stuff like London After Midnight. I was like, these are really great. They're really catchy. I love Brandl's tone. So and then they did, you know, and then they did the Cold Case Files, and the Black Dahlia murders are easily my favorite cold case, like unsolved mystery of all time. I just find that case incredibly interesting.
They've done this thing where they've somehow managed to sound exactly like the 90s era Misfits and still sound like their own thing simultaneously, which is like, to me, like a huge success, because it's like you've done the impossible. Like, if anyone else tried to do that and they were just like, oh, this is just Glenn Danzig Misfits again in a different name, they'd be like, fuck you, you're a poser, go away, we have enough of those. But like, they managed to just be like, hey, here's a 90s grave, you know, a 90s Misfits clone, but it's also not that. Like, but we're going to tell you it, you know, he'll deny it all day. He'll be like, no, we're just sound exactly the same as them. It's like, yeah, but you don't, but you also do. It's like really weird. It sounds like if like their records are the records that were supposed to come after Famous Monsters that we just never got. Yeah.
No, 100%. So I've really been digging on what those guys have been doing and stuff like that. So and also a little shout out too and you're gonna know Ronan from doing, you know, the Horror Punk USA stuff. But dude, the stuff he's doing right now with Dickie Devil and the Deviants, I think is just so fucking fun.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
It's just this horror punk party rock thing. It's just it's like if you take like a horror punk band and mashed them kind of with that LMFAO band that was like really big like 10 years ago.
Oh, okay.
You know, just that they're fun and flirty, kind of goofy, and you can tell that they're clearly just about having a good time. So I would have to give a little shout out as like my honorable mention of that three to Ronan, because I just think that what he's doing with Dickie Devil is a lot of fun.
Yeah, they're killing it in their area from what I've seen. Yeah. And like, you know, he puts on badass, you know, shows, and we didn't get to play with them at the last Slasher Fest, but we played with them the time before that, and they put on a really fucking good live show.
Yeah,
they had this like really cool like surf medley like section they did in the middle of their set that I just thought was fucking too killer.
For sure, man, 100%. So go ahead, Angel. How about you, man?
Lizzie Borden, and I'm going to reenact M3, the opening of M3. Everybody's like this. And then he comes on stage, and it's like they're trying to see what the fuck is the three-headed thing going on with him.
Right.
And what's cool about that is that it wasn't a front man trying to look like your next door neighbor, because I like a front man to be larger than life. So he was just up there, you were just looking at it horrified, but that's what you got to love about him. That's what I love about a horror rock show, is that it's kind of like theater rock, where you're not going to go see something grungy like four people just standing still performing songs. You're going to see a kick-ass show. So,
you're going to see a performance.
Yeah.
Any other ones that you wanted to throw out, dude, or was Lizzie Borden just kind of like the big horror thing for
Lizzie
you?
Borden that was really got me into it. Is
cool, man.
And, you know, it's pretty cool that, like, I've never heard of him before M3, just being honest.
Yeah.
But he just kind of grabbed everybody's attention within 5 seconds.
I remember telling you guys, because you know that I'm a super nerd for that band.
We thought you was over exaggerating. We're like,
I know you did. It was funny, David. Me and the guys, we were all at M3 doing press, which is basically a giant 80s metal festival that's dedicated to like 80s glam / hard rock here in Maryland. Happens every year. and they finally booked Lizzie Borden. And I mean, I'm from Massachusetts because I was born in Salem, and so all that horror lore I love. So Salem Witch Trials and Lizzie Borden in Fall River, and being a big fan of that actual case. Speaking of murder cases and stuff like that, I was always really interested in that case, and that's just what led me to the other Lizzie Bordens of my life. It's how I found the band Lizzie Borden. I became a super nerd of them. I discovered and subsequently became really like best friends with a former female professional wrestler who used to wrestle under the name Lizzie Borden, and she and I became really good friends. But I was telling the guys, I was like, dude, they booked Lizzie Borden. Just wait, dude. They're going to knock your dicks in the dirt. You guys have no fucking idea what you guys are in for. And they're just like, oh, yeah, there's Jay going off again about his love of all things creepy and horror. And
exactly what we were thinking.
And then literally Angel and Bobby were just like, what the fuck?
And poor Bobby was the photographer in the front, so he got to see that like right in his face, literally.
When it looked like Lizzie was looking over there, he was really looking at Bobby.
You couldn't tell which one. You couldn't tell which Max he was in. Like which one of the three faces was actually him looking.
That's fucking cool.
Oh yeah.
So he's got like one here and one here. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like and the one in the middle.
Yeah, one in like three faces. Like it was so cool.
And even his guitar player had no idea either, which was even better.
Yeah. Dude, it was so rad. And it was awesome too, because for Christmas, Megan got me this bitchin' poster behind my head. It's like the classic actual photo of the real life like Lizzie Borden. She found this big ass fucking poster of it. So we made time to go find like a frame for that thing. Now the funny thing is, David, your posters are right next to it.
Oh hell yeah.
So that's super duper cool for sure. But hell yeah, man. No, we love that kind of stuff. But Angel, let's keep it with you for a little bit longer, and then I'll bring in some more questions. But yeah, let's get back to the fans.
Your dream lineup to open for or to open for you.
Oh, okay. Open for me sounds stupid, so I'll do open for. I would love it if I got to open for. How many bands can I have?
As many as you want.
Don't say that, man. Come on.
Why don't we go three? That makes a four. Yeah. That makes a 4-band bill.
Okay, yeah, with us opening it.
Yeah.
With us opening, okay. I would want the headliners to be the Misfits. And then I would like it to be Blitz Kid. And then I would like it to be Silent Horror. And then it could be us. Yeah. That would be my dream, like, horror punk show, for sure. Like, show in general. My dream show is a horror punk show. So, yeah. And, like, if Ozzy could just, like, be there for no reason, that'd be cool, too. Just hanging out. That'd be rad.
I remember hearing something where Goolsby posted on like Blitzkid's page or something that I guess they had been reached out to like open like the official like Misfits pre-party for when they were going to do the Dallas thing, and because they were out on their tour, they had to decline that. And I'm like thinking to myself, Ghouls, that as long as you put that city at like the end of the tour or something, they aren't. I know they've waited 2.5 years for you, but for that opportunity, I don't think they'll be mad at you, dude.
Sorry, man. Bobby's shirt.
What? Am I on the wrong show?
I can't even tell what you're wearing, dude.
You look better than Britney Spears.
Oh, you've got it. Oh, you've got that rolled up thing going.
Yeah, like that.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, sorry. I thought I was on front row show. I'm sorry, Andy.
I thought you were, dude. Are you still on those Cosmos, bro?
No, I thought I was on Candy and Lisa's show. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh man, they're too much. But no, dude, that was crazy, dude. When I heard that that Ghouls and Blitzkid got offered that gig. I'm like, oh, bro, nobody would have been mad at you for that.
Honestly, huge respect though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, not even gonna lie, mad props. That's one thing I will say about Goolsby is that dude like does not. I don't know. He just doesn't let people down. It seems when he says he's gonna do something. So
For sure. No,
yeah.
100%.
I shit you not. I brought a literal box of vinyl records for those guys to sign, and they signed every fucking record and little digipack CD I had with me. And I did it to be funny. I was just doing it to be funny. Like, hi, hey, I got some stuff for you to sign, and just like put like a literal like moving box of things. They were like, oh, cool. And they sat there and they signed every last thing in that box for me. I could not believe it. Yeah.
Totally, dude. They did the same. They did the same for me. Like I said, like every like Ghoul signed all that stuff. They signed their both All Hallows Stream DVDs for me. They signed all their CDs. The first time I ever saw Blitzkid in Baltimore, I still had the poster. They signed this for me actually when I saw them when I went to Jason Trioxen's memorial a few years ago. I had the poster still from when Blitzkid played Baltimore, and they signed that. But no, the same as you, dude. Like, no questions asked, no attitude, no nothing, man. They trucked through all of it with the best of intentions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Angel, go ahead, bud.
And speaking of records, what will be your dream record store day releases?
I don't understand that question. I'm sorry if I.
No, it's all right.
Well,
Yeah.
I think what it's intended to be is like record store day happens, a few times a year, and there's usually like re-releases or special releases of certain bands.
Oh, okay. I would like a translucent red blood splatter vinyl pressing of Initium by Sam Hain.
Ooh, that's a good answer.
Yeah, I want that. If there's any like, hey, what's your dream vinyl record? I want that really fucking bad. Like I'm talking like cherry, like Halloween candy, like looks like it would like shatter like glass, fucking blood splatter vinyl, like that record on that, because that's like my favorite record that Danzig has ever like put out. Period. On anything Misfits or Danzig. I love it. Like I have a bootleg pressing of it, which is fine. It's totally fine. It does exactly what I need it to do because, that crazy old man doesn't want to give us what we want.
Right.
But yeah. It's like, I don't need your cell phones. You ain't getting that record.
Right.
Making vampire movies in my cave.
Seriously, dude, they got Dead in the House of Vampires supposed to come out sometime soon.
Dude, I crack so many Danzig jokes, but honestly, I'm happy for him. That's rad, man. It's like, you earned it, man. Make those movies. Do your thing, man. You did a bunch of stuff already. Just do whatever.
Pretty much. I mean, Veronica was that was an interesting experience when I watched that movie. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh yeah, that shit was fucking weird.
I definitely had some criticisms of that. Of the acting movie.
Yeah. I've never gave it a proper watch. We were all just shit housed. Like we were having a house party when we all watched it. Like we just put it on and people just talked over it and laughed and we just hung out around the movie essentially and
sure.
But whatever. It's that kind of thing. It's like it's like I think like the whole like every woman who was in the film was like an adult film actress by like trade that he just hired to just do a normal movie instead. And
right.
Like it's just like borderline Tommy Wiseau. Satire film.
Yeah, I mean there's this scene towards the end where this one girl is like dead. She was like sacrificed. She's being like held like on this like being held by like Satan and stuff, and you can like see her breathing and moving, and I'm just like, oh my god, how did you not see this in post? It's so obvious.
Oh man.
But I mean, it's Danzig. I'm going to get anything that Danzig puts out because it's Danzig. It's just like Rob Zombie. Like, I loved the
Well, I don't know about you, man, but that Skeletons record he did was pretty not like he. I'm glad I didn't buy it because that would have been the first time I got some. I'm like, give me my money back. I do
it
not like this.
It's not good.
I was like, dude, you recorded this in your bathroom. That's not okay.
I thought he slayed that Elvis record though.
Oh, that was great. That was totally great.
Yeah. That was, but no, I know what you mean, man. I really do.
Yeah. It's like there was just this, like, I remember listening to the cover of Nativity in Black on there, and it's got like this sucking noise the whole time. Like it feels like the volume is just like, whoa, whoa, and just like, what are you fucking doing? And it's like there's no low end at all. It's all just like that whole record sounds like he did it on a fucking black box tape recorder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like just like chilling over dinner.
Oh yeah.
It was definitely wacky. Angel, why don't we kick it up to one more fan question just for this segment, and then we'll kick it down to Bobby.
What do you like best about being a musician and your first concerts?
So the first concert, I'll do it in this order. It's easier for me to. So my first concert ever was Gorgeous Frankenstein with Goolsby as their singer, and they had Car Bomb, Bella Morte, and Church for Sinners opening, and it was a fucking awesome show. Like I remember it was my I didn't know who Goolsby was before that. Like before the whole Gorgeous Frankenstein thing. And then when he came out there and he just like spinning in circles with that wireless bass and just like jumping all over the place and just like giving out the same like level of energy as Doyle, which is like really fucking hard to do. Especially the farther back in time you go, that's like the more wild on stage he gets.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, what did he do? And it's like, oh, he breaks his guitar while he's playing it throughout the set. Like he just like gradually like beats it into submission and, you know, just stomps all over the place. And like, I don't know, like fucking dude's big enough to make the stage shake, man. He's a monster.
Yeah.
And then fucking you got Doyle, or no, you got Goolsby, and he's just this vampire dude jumping all over the place. And they had Dr. Chud too. And it was so cool. They played like the entire 90s Misfits catalog plus the Gorgeous Frankenstein songs. And yeah, it was a fucking amazing show. And I discovered Church for Sinners at that show, and they ended up being like my like favorite local band ever. They're like my hometown hero band is Church for Sinners.
Nice.
Like they're awesome. And when Robot will have like their catalog available again physically, once in the Robot Monsters merch store when that launches. But until then, this will be the first time those CDs have been available since like 2010. You haven't been able to hear like, well, you can find some of their music online, but you haven't been able to hear those records unless you bought them like since 2010.
For sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
We're actually going to leave that as a teaser because that is the next direction I'm going when it comes back to me. But Bobby, let's get you involved, my good dude.
Yes. So, Dave,
well, hold on.
ask you, me being the newbie.
Well, hey, Bobby, 1 second, buddy. Sorry. Go ahead, Dave.
I only answered half that question.
Oh, shit. Sorry. My bad.
Yeah.
Angel.
And I was going to ask, what was the second half of that again? It was my first show, or
what was your first concert, and what do you like the most about being a musician?
What do I like the most about being a musician? I love it when I see people sharing like my stuff or like quoting my song lyrics in their like Instagram pictures and all that. I love that because it tells me that I am giving people the same escape that the bands I love still give to me. And I think that is the coolest part. I just love the fact that there are people that listen to my shit, and that makes me like feel that's my favorite part of being a musician is people fuck with my music, and yeah, it's rad.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Bobby.
So Dave, I got to throw it out. So the horror music genre, what drew you into it? How, did it all come about? Did you dig into the old classics, Alice, or how did it come about?
So, the Misfits are really what got me into wanting to do horror punk. That's the easy answer, but like my first CD ever was Kiss Greatest Hits, and then the first CD I got to pick in my entire life was Black Sabbath Paranoid. And then the first CD I ever bought with my own money was Misfits American Psycho. So it's like I've always really been like pretty well on a well-balanced diet of that shock rock stuff. And then like, of course, like I really loved Slayer growing up as a kid. Like I listened to Slayer like as far back as like 3rd or 4th grade. I can remember like having Rain in Blood and like on CD. And yeah, I'm just really like, I really love the aesthetic because it's like goth, but tough, if that makes sense. Like that's what horror punk has always been to me. It's like you can be dark and spooky, but also still have like, you don't have to be so tame.
Yeah.
Like to be in that culture, if that makes sense. You're still allowed to just be kind of like an animal and not like really like, I don't know. I just like that. We're all just dark, spooky, wild, angry kids. And that's just kind of how, yeah.
So I know Jay pointed out, there's a festival coming to, Baltimore, what is it? Hell in the Harbor.
Hell in the Harbor, yeah.
So, and we got Cannibal Corpse. So, look, I'm a skater dude. Nothing. Like I grew up with Pusshead and everybody else. But how did it all branch off from thrash to? Look, I'm the old head here. You got to educate me.
It's like literally, it was just like I was a kid. My friend was like, "Hey, I found this shit called horror punk. This is the Calibres, and like this is the Misfits, and this is Blitz Kid, and this is the other." And that's just what we were into, and that was just it. Like my best friend showed me that. His name's Chris, and fucking we loved it, and we obsessed over it for years. And we're like, this is what we want to do. And it's like, that's probably a really like boring answer, but it's literally as simple as that. It's like, that's just what we fell in love with as a group of kids. And
very cool. But the other thing too is, how did you tie it in with some of the music genre? I mean, look, some of the great Nosferatu, some of the Bela Lugosi's. How does all that tie into the horror punk?
The aesthetic. It's really all that is. It's just part of like the image. I know a lot of the fan base is like really huge, like horror, like gorehounds and like, real big like horror movie connoisseurs and all that. And it's just
Jay
like
is as well, which is great, but the reason I'm asking, it's not be a dick, but it's like,
oh yeah,
look, I'm one of those people like, hey, cool. How does all this shit tie together?
So what do you mean? Like, do you want to know like what makes it punk?
Yeah,
is that what you're saying? Like, what's punk about it?
Look, I fucking played with HR, but how do you go from punk to fucking, Vincent Price? How does all that shit, when did I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I love that you mentioned Kiss. We're all the biggest Kiss fucking fans ever.
Oh yeah, I love Kiss. Well, Kiss had a big influence on the Misfits and like their get up, because it's like, from what I've gathered, like their big influences were Kiss and the Ramones, and like they were like, well, how are we gonna smash that together? And the makeup thing that clearly came from Kiss, and the whole looking cohesive, that was like them like, well, the Ramones are cohesive, because like I think what Jerry only said, it was like, when the Ramones walk into the room, you know who are in the Ramones. Yeah, it's like, it's those guys all there with those goofy bang haircuts and those black leather jackets and tight blue jeans. That's the Ramones. Oh, and all their last names, the fucking Ramones. I'm like, oh, who's in the Misfits? It's like, oh, all those fucking them punk rock Monster Mash looking guys over there. And it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's just like a gimmick that stuck, and I think it just paired really well when the Misfits did it, and a lot of people like clicked and connected with just liking that upbeat, drivey punk rock lifestyle, but you love horror horror movies too, and they just smush it together.
That's
Because
great.
I know a lot of people who, at least back in the day, what I've heard, I shouldn't say I know, is the big draw to it was horror punk was very apolitical, and to some point still is. So there's like a lot of people where it was just kind of like, I like punk rock, but I don't like politics. So it was like horror punk was like good to get into, which I'm not one of those people. Because like I consume like actual punk too, and like political, like I like DRI, I like Leftover Crack, I like Prop Gandhi, I like Bouncing Souls, like I like Blink-182, I like the Menzingers, I like freaking GBH, like I'm all over the place. I love punk, but yeah, there's literally like I'm trying not to get political and not say anything mean to like answer this how I think I should answer it, but yeah, it's just like I don't know how they were able to cross horror with punk, like other than to just do it just cause. I don't think there's a deeper answer than that.
I love the fact that horror punk, look, you know, I grew up in the era when it was fuck Abigail came out, and you know, Merciful Fate, and then you had Venom and everybody, and then you know, this end came out, and I kept going, oh, this is fucking badass. I'm like, that everybody's taken, you know, oh, we got to be, you know, English, but and you guys were like, fuck you, let's make it fun.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Where the Ramones did the same thing. It was, you know, you can't take the shit serious. And the horror punk was more of the, that was the whole great thing about, you know, I bring up the whole Bela Lugosi thing and all that. It was never meant to be serious.
Oh yeah, it's cool thing about horror punk because it's like
to come out with the Young Frankenstein version of horror punk.
It's Bela Lugosi, but like he has a skateboard, man. He's cool.
Yes,
it's horror punk, man.
Well, you look at every skateboard. Look at, you know, the artists. I got a shit, you know, and I skate. So, but everybody who did it through the late 80s, 90s, the bottoms of the board were Pusshead and, you know, fucking Metallica gravitated and everybody else. And it was that gig.
Oh, yeah.
Chuck Treese, who I play with. Chuck, you know, played with the Bad Brains, McRad, everybody else. And, but I love that you guys are like, okay, let's take a fun house and fucking throw it in the mix.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Cause like I get it. Like, I think the political messages and like the deeper messages and all those songs like are important and all that and do have their place. But like, there's such like horror punk is so diverse in what you can get from it. Like, it's almost never political, but you can always pull some deeper meaning. Like Argyle Goolsby, that's a really good reference for this. Is like he has a lot of stuff where it's like, oh, well, it's like he sings about more than just drinking blood and, you know, being a werewolf or whatever. It goes a lot deeper. Like he has like a lot of songs that are about like loss and like trials and like things being unfair, just kind of like sugar coated in all these like big spooky lyrics and all that. And it's like, it's really cool. There's a lot of really creative like takes on horror punk author because it goes from like horror punk, you could sound like some like garage doom band and still be horror punk, and or you could sound like some really well put together tight melodic skate punk with really crazy harmonies all over the place, and that's still horror punk. And you can be everything in between, or you can be like borderline psychobilly, like the Cramps, you know, like they're like just barely not psychobilly, I would say, like with their stuff, but they're like a big staple in the horror punk thing, and like they sound so different than each other.
I love we're getting a lot of blurbs. Matt Porter put it out. He goes, the great thing about it is it's Halloween 365. Which
Hell
is,
yeah,
100%.
And
which is really cool on that end. And you think about it, you know, everybody needs an escape. That was one thing growing up, and you brought it up, being a Kiss fan, being that. And I got off the Kiss cruise, and I was there shooting with, look, they didn't do it to be serious. They went out and said, look, we're doing shit nobody else is doing, and we're doing the band that everybody else wants to do. And
Man, they had fucking action figures, and if you can't be like fuck yeah to like your favorite band having straight up action figures, like made by Todd McFarlane, Spawn, Kiss action figures, and it's like,
and we got Jay with
dude,
a cat.
I had those toys when I was a kid. I had Paul Stanley and Ace Frehley Psycho Circus fucking action figures, and that shit was fucking cool. I was like, of course I would fucking love to play bass guitar with a fucking flamethrower on my shoulder and get paid millions of dollars. Like, that would be fucking amazing. That shit is so cool. What is not cool about that?
I think the coolest thing about our show here, look, and I commend Jay. You know, sometimes everybody goes, oh, we're going in I'm going, I love that all of us bring something different. I'm the 80s guy. I'm the fucking I'm grandpa of the show. Well, kind of, I'm the gay grandma, but you know, but we got Jay, who I was at fucking Disney and people said, oh, does Jay hang upside down to sleep? You know, and you know,
no, that's true though. He does.
Thing that we bring everybody out. That this is kind of like an edumacation here. I love that we bring in artists like you on and Goolsby and everybody else. Look, you know, people are like going, oh, wow, I never went into that toy box. Open that closet up. Yeah, there's things in there. You know, oh, you're a Kiss fan? I never heard that. Ooh, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to listen to fucking Justin Bieber anymore. I'd rather fucking listen to shit like, I'm like, really? There's this kind of music now?
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. So, David, there's a cool topic that we got to get into. Before I get into that, it kind of hit me when you were talking about these bands of like, you know, horror punk and stuff like that, like The Other and Calabrese and all this stuff. And I have to go back real quick to when you asked me and Angel what horror punk bands that we're really into, because I got to give a shout out to my bro. I know you know him. He's been on the show. I fucking love what Emilio's doing right now with Dark Eyes.
Emilio! I love that guy so much.
Hell yeah. Absolutely.
I have known Emilio since I was 18. So I've known him for like 10 years now. Yeah, he had like, actually, I went and saw Michael Graves play when Emilio was playing guitar for the Misfits set when he was doing that Vagabond tour.
I was at that too for the local show.
Oh, right on. Yeah, they came to Seattle and I spotted out Emilio and he hung out with me like no one, like, you know, I mean, like, no shade to him or anything. Nothing, not that, you know, just like no one else recognized him and I who knew who he was. And I was like, are you who I think you are? And he was like, I absolutely am. And he hung out with me like the whole show damn near before they played. And it was really fucking cool. And I've kept in touch with him and just gotten advice from him just with music stuff over Messenger for like 10 years now. Like he's pretty much watched my grammar like evolve from a delinquent to a man, and just like, yeah. I like go back and see some of the questions I used to ask. I was like, stupid, bad David. That was so dumb.
No, for sure, because I knew the Stellar Corpse going way back for quite a while, and I saw Emilio playing with Michael when they played Virginia, because they weren't doing a Baltimore show, so I went to West Springfield, Virginia, to a now dead club called Jack's, and saw them play at that, and then me and Emilio would just kind of periodically cross paths, and then we really started talking at Jason's memorial, because he was playing that because he had 10 years in Mr. Monster. And the one thing about Emilio, and I told him this on his episode, you can't really talk horror punk without like Emilio's thumbprint on a real good chunk of the bands that make up the scene, because even as a hired gun or an invite or an actual member, he's been around so much shit, whether it was playing with Mr. Monster, playing with Michael Graves, playing obviously with Stellar Corpse.
Yeah, that's funny you should mention that. I was just talking on the phone with him, like, I think it was just last week. And yeah, I told him the same thing because we were talking about Dark Ride, and I was just pretty like nothing to do with me. That's not like a foreshadow or anything. We were literally just talking about Dark Ride. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I'm not doing anything with Dark Ride. That's not a thing. Before, like I've just mentioned stuff like that before, and people just like, oh my god, he's joining this band. Like, no, that'd be fucking cool, but no, it's not happening.
Sure.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, because we'd gotten on the comparison between like, you know, how well, you know, on how well he's been doing since his departure from Stellar Corpses. I was pretty much just told him, it's like, oh well, that's just because you're not Emilio from Stellar Corpses, you're Emilio from Horror Punk. It's totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like it's like you're one of those people like Goolsby. It's like you've been on like everything, man. You've been all over the place. Yeah.
And that's the one thing that I love about Emilio. Like I genuinely love it about the guy because I love him to death. And I will fight for that dude. But I couldn't get that motherfucker to take a compliment on that episode to save his life because he's always been so humble.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, dude, like I said, Mr. Monster, Goolsby, Michael Graves, now Dark Ride, Stellar Corpses, like, but other bands as well. I was like, you can't talk the genre. It's like that seven things of Kevin Bacon, that 7 connections or something of Kevin Bacon.
6 degree of Kevin Bacon, yeah.
6 degree of Kevin.
Or,
like,
you know,
you're gonna run into Emilio somewhere on one of these bands quickly. It's just, he's that guy.
Oh, he's everywhere.
He performs, he learns, he always knows how to like present, and he's just a good guy to play with. So people, they like having him.
Yeah, we have been hounding him to get on an Evelyn's Casket song for a few years now. Yeah. That's like my main goal. Like that's the hidden agenda for Evelyn's Casket is I get to do a song with all my favorite guys. And then when that happens, once I've done all my favorite collaboration horror punk guys, the band's over. It's over. Yeah. I'm just so you guys better never stop making other good horror punk bands or we'll quit.
The final track ever released by Evelyn's Casket featuring Glenn Danzig. It's just a wrap.
All right, we're done. This is the end.
No,
it was part of the deal. He had it written that after we did this track, we had to just quit. Like that was the deal.
Seriously, you got to sign away certain things. You got to sign away your soul. And just it's got to go under Evil Live 9 Records and
no one can take a picture of this song. No photos of this song. Yeah,
no, not whatsoever. The press photos are Glenn with like little wispy ghosty face of the other guys in the bands, like you're kind of there but you're not. No, that would definitely be super cool, dude. And that's the other thing that's so great about music is getting to do those collabs, brother.
Yeah, that's. Oh man, you know what? That might actually be my real favorite part of being a musician. I don't know. That's pretty tied with my previous answer. For sure. Collabs and connecting with people through my music is, they're equally as cool. Yeah,
absolutely, for sure. So let's get back where I'll get myself back on track with where I wanted to steer this, because this is a cool topic to talk about, because you were dropping hints, dropping teasers, obviously showing your excitement to be involved in this. So let's talk about Robot Monster, your involvement in that, what you knew about that previously and what we need to know now, because you seemed really hype about this.
So Robot Monster is probably the closest thing America ever got to their own Fiend Force records. So they're from like the real earlier, I would say the early 2010s to the late like 2000s. So it would be like, I think they had like a 2006 through like 2011 kind of deal. But that label was ran by my mentor, Jake Hades. They put out bands, like they put out the Epidemic's first record. They put out Lonely Ones by the American Werewolves. They put out Church for Sinners records. They put out Dead Vampires the Day After Halloween. They put out just awesome staples artists, like not only to like horror punk in America, but specifically to the horror punk in the Pacific Northwest. They put some really, really awesome bands on the map. And I've been hounding him for like, yeah, it's got to be fucking 8 or 9 years now to bring it back and let me help with this. And, you know, he's had all these CDs and stuff that just haven't been available and all these connections. And I'm really excited to help him bring it back, because I just feel like not only do I think the scene wasn't quite ready for it, but I don't think that he had the right people involved to do it right back then. Because now, essentially what the plan is for this label is, I don't know if you remember stores, like I think they're still around, but there was like Interpunk and Angry Young and Poor.
Oh, dude, I love Angry Young and Poor.
Yeah, well, I think they're actually still around. I think they've been thriving for like 30 or 40 years or some shit. But
yeah, they're totally still a thing. Lancaster, PA, barely an hour from my house. I love going there.
I got my first leather jacket from them in high school. Yeah, it was like only place you could get a leather jacket for like $100.
Yeah.
Was it leather?
No, it was real. It was real leather, and it was like so thick. Like I remember it showed up, and I just remember like dumping like an entire vial of that treating oil on it, and then I went in my living room and I just beat it on my carpet just for like an hour until it didn't feel like I was wearing a fucking cardboard jacket. but we essentially want to create that hub, but horror punk. So it's like you'll go there, and this will be like this big hub for all these horror punk, like all this horror punk merch. So like we're gonna have a lot more than just bands on the label. Like as far as this merch store goes, she's like, we hope to have like, there are bands, so I can't talk about it, like the bands themselves, but there are bands on it that you guys are familiar with that will have stuff on it. And the really cool thing about this is a lot of the merch that will be on there will be exclusive.
Nice.
So it's like, we'll only have this shirt designer, we'll only have this color of this record, or like stuff like that. Like they'll, like a good chunk of our merch store will be stuff you can only get from us. And a really cool thing is how I can't really go deep into the numbers on it, but how we've designed and wired this label to work is when you do get brought in or signed on, you're essentially like brought into what's like a workers union almost. So it's like how this label is being ran is me and Jake are going to be running it, but how it's going to be is it's not going to be us like, oh, we're making our money off of all these bands or we're getting our percentage. It's like they're really good deals. Like all of the bands are getting really awesome deals, and they're totally anti-predatory and all that. And like, of course, I can't just, hey, this is the record deal we're handing out like in a tea. I literally can't do that. But all of the money ends up just getting fed back into promotion for all of these bands. So it's almost like, like a workers union or like a carpentries union. It's nice. Like, I really feel like it's going to be a big boost for horror punk, because this thing is essentially wired to be a self-sustaining promotional machine for this fucking genre to just get plastered all over the fucking internet everywhere. And we're really hoping, because I feel like
Dead Vampires, man.
Yeah, dude. I've known Doc for a few years too. He doesn't really do any music anymore as far as like, putting out records and doing original stuff, but he does sing for a couple like really killer tribute bands. Like he does this Cramps tribute band that he absolutely fucking slays as Lex Interior for them, and then he does a Misfits tribute band too, and they're really good. Like I wish he would just do another Dead Vampires record personally,
right?
But that's another thing too. We have these plans to we're gonna redo some of the songs from the old catalog with members of Evelyn's Casket and a few members from some other bands that will be on the label. But we're going to bring the original singers for these said songs, and we're going to re-record them in a modern production as like a super group environment.
Oh, that's
cool. So these will just be like a few singles here and there. Like we'll probably only do like one song from each release this way. But yeah, there's a lot going on with it that I'm really fucking excited about, and they're going to be helping out a lot of bands. Like you guys will see, because the bands that I've scouted for this are bands that I know have been working really fucking hard independently, and I think they deserve a boost like this, and I want this to work. Everyone involved wants this to work, and they want it to work the right way. And I know that 2023's plan is to establish the merch store and really iron out the proper way of helping these bands we sign on to analyze what workload we can really handle and how many bands at once we can actively work, as their sponsored label. Because one thing we don't want to do is we don't want to sign too many people at once and then spread ourselves too thin and then just be dick of all help for the bands we signed. Like if we sign you, we want to actually help you. So,
sure.
And then leading into 2024 and 2025, we would because Jake actually had a hand, a lot of people don't know, but he did a lot of the artwork for Ghouls Night Out, the festival. And we would like to take another crack at that without fucking everyone over, though.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, because if anyone who knows what Ghouls Night Out is, from what I've heard, and from a handful of people that I know that have talked to me about it that were involved, a lot of people lost a lot of money and effort that they put into that thing, which sucks because that was such a killer concept. It just horror punk festival, like plain and simple. Best of the best are meeting here for this show. It's like, why wouldn't you want that? That's so great. Like, why would you fuck that up for everyone?
Yeah. No, 100%. I think that's fucking sick, dude. Like, and David, keep me in the loop on that, as well as the guys. Like, that's also what we're all about, and I'm very much obviously about that kind of stuff. Between yourself and Ghouls and Emilio and Nikki and all that stuff. I've always had this running joke, and the guys can attest to this, and some of our fans can attest to this as well. They can usually always tell when I've booked an episode of the Metal Summit. Like when I put together like the posters for like the guest announcement and stuff like that, it's usually a guest doesn't usually have to think too hard on whether or not it was booked by Steve or Bobby or Angel or me. But no, definitely keep me in the loop on that, dude, because I'd love to help in any way that I can. The guys would love to help in any way they can.
Oh, I definitely will. Like, I know one event that we're really excited about that we want to call it, where we want to meet somewhere in like the Midwest, but we want to call it Bigfoot versus Mothman Fest, and we want West Coast horror punk bands, like West Coast and East Coast. Like, I'm talking as east as it gets, because like some people will be like, oh yeah, we're an East Coast band, and it's actually like a Midwest state or whatever. But like, we want to take bands from like Jersey and Florida and Massachusetts, and then take bands from like Seattle and LA and Portland and smack them in the middle. But we want to make sure these are bands you guys are all into. Like Dark Ride, I would love Dark Ride to be in there. I would love Blitz Kid to be in there. Evelyn's Casket would be there. A few other bands we're going to be with. Darker Days, of course. Yeah, of course. That goes without saying. You can just assume if I'm doing something, like if I'm putting anything together, the Darker Days guys are just always invited to be a part of it. Like, they just have to say, hey, we want to do that too. Yeah. And they'll be there. Yeah. It's like, I love those guys. Yeah.
Totally, dude. Because the only label of your style with Robot Monster that was really kind of in that ballpark was Horror High.
Right. Yeah, that's right. I forgot about them. They did they did a lot of Graves releases.
Yeah, they did a lot of Graves releases. They did some re-release work with Blitz Kid as well, and also Wednesday 13 was involved in that with them for a little while.
Oh yeah, dude, I totally forgot about them. Dang. All right, look at that. Oh man, me and my homework.
Yeah. You're good, dude. No worries, man. Yeah. That's what we do. We talk about fun things and different people trigger
zombies. They did zombies too, didn't they?
They did.
Yeah, man.
For sure they did. Absolutely. Angel, let's kick it up to you, man. Do a little bit of fan questions, and we'll bring Bobby back in for a little bit of love. We still got time, fans, with David, but it is going to be last call for alcohol when it comes to fan questions and everything. David's been more than generous with his time. We still got time to rock with him, but we definitely want to honor his evening because we don't want to chew it all up considering he's West Coast.
I do have some, before we end though, I do have some Evelyn's Casket stuff I do want to talk about before.
Oh, without a doubt.
So, yeah.
Definitely. Oh yeah, this definitely wasn't it's a final 5 minutes, fans, and then we're going to cut them loose. We like to just kind of let the fans kind of know, like, hey, just keep things in mind so that way they're prepared and they can get their questions in. But oh no, we always wind it back to the main project and stuff like that, because I'm aware of some EC stuff that I was going to bring up, and we definitely want you to pimp it out, dude.
All right, cool.
But yeah, go ahead, Angel.
Who would you want to collaborate with?
Who do I want to collaborate with? Well, I've been fucking sicking the internet on Nimbind for like 2 years now to get him to do a song with us. But yeah, right now, I really want to do a song with Nimbind. I would really like to do a song with Davey Calabrese, but he hates me because I make fun of him all the time and I send him hate mail. I'm just kidding. He doesn't even know me. I would love to do a song with Davey Calabrese and Argyle Goolsby. And Emilio, of course. This is a dangerous question because I could just go on and on. Like, I don't like, yeah, okay.
Angel,
I'm not going to say anymore.
Angel, you're going to retire Evelyn's Casket with this question.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, though. Okay, I really want to do a song with Emilio from Dark Ride. I want to do a song with Nimbind from Nimbind. I really want to do a song with Argyle Goolsby from Blitzkid. And I would love to do a song with Jared Smith of Zombeast as well. But but I'll leave this. Out of those 4 people, we are actually doing a track with one of them. I'll leave that up to you guys to just kind of figure out. Yeah.
I would actually love to see you do a track in some way with blood-sucking zombies from outer space.
Oh, that would be fucking killer. I would totally do that. Yeah, in a heartbeat. Yeah, those guys are fucking, they're rad. They're killing it overseas. Yeah.
Fuck yeah, they are. Absolutely. Go ahead, Angel.
This one, I want David to ask a question that Jay will answer with one of his Ouija boards.
Fuck you, Brian. I love you, by the way, but fuck you.
Oh, no. We don't have to do that. I'm cool on that, man. We don't have to do that.
The Brian and the Metal Summoners know better than to get me started on Ouija boards.
Yeah, I don't play with those. Yeah.
Okay, Brian, I'll owe you that at a later date.
But we will answer your other question. Will Vegas Punk Museum have a horror punk section?
Oh, man. I feel like I would never be able to answer that for you. I honestly feel like I am not. I would think that would be amazing, but I got to tell you with full confidence, I would have no way of knowing. Yeah.
And what are the plans for touring in 2023?
For touring? Okay. Yeah, we do have a tour coming up in April, going down the West Coast with 5 Cent Freak Show and Darker Days. We should be having the dates finalized in just a handful of dates. I'm actually have to sign some paperwork for our boys up north and their work visas after this interview. So there's that. But we'll be going, we're doing Everett, Washington, Tacoma, Washington, a bunch of towns I have trouble like saying. I don't know how to say them. So whatever, but they're in between there and LA. And then we're going to San Diego and stuff. And I'm a lot more excited. I was really bad about this at the last tour. I could barely say any of the towns' names, and I kept forgetting what places we were going to because that's where I don't do good. But it's going to be on the West Coast. and it's gonna be really spooky. And there will be a flyer with much more reliable information than what I have in just a couple days.
Not sure if you could talk about this, but what are some of the behind the scenes stuff that goes on behind putting a tour together that people don't really see? If you could.
There is definitely a lot of stress if you don't have a booking agent. So we do DIY booking, so we do it all ourselves. It's mainly like me and Nick from Darker Days pretty much booked both the tours. Nicky helped as much as he could, but it's like he's in fucking Canada, so it's like, you know, we can only get like if he was going to help, he would just be doing what we already did. So we have a deal that when we go up to Canada, it's Nicky's turn to book everything, and he's locked and loaded, and I have full confidence he's going to pull that off because he's very confident and he's never let me down before. So yeah, but there's a lot of phone calls involved. That's one thing that was really strange to me is before touring, I had never talked with like a booker on the phone to book something or like given up my phone number for texting, but apparently that's really normal. And I thought it was weird because I've always done things through like Messenger and email. I've never actually like given out my phone number, but things fall through and then you have to scramble to fix it, and it just is what it is. But it's totally worth it for sure. If you're built for that, if you like crawling in a van and hitting a different town every night and doing all that shit hungover, yeah, it's fucking awesome. And like, I know explaining that kind of sounds like complaining, but like there is like this like total charm to it that is just so good. Like when I'm on tour, I totally forget that I'm an adult with responsibilities. I just feel like I'm, you know,
I do that
like
every night.
Yeah. It's like takes me right back to high school. It's just like I'm just fucking sleeping outside. I got a food stamps card. I'm going to Winco on my longboard and sleeping under a tree later. But I have money. But you know, that's what touring feels like to me. It's just so free and awesome. But it's stressful as fuck. Booking your own tour is so stressful, but so worth it. That's the easy answer. And it's even more stressful if you need money. If you're like, no, I can't do it for free, I need a guarantee. That makes it even more stressful. But you should ask for a guarantee. Yeah. Sorry, guys, I'm bad at some of these questions, as you can see.
No, that's all.
Do you get?
You're doing great, bro.
How are they with your getting your guarantees? You know, what's your percentage of that?
So on tour, it's very hit or miss. Some people are really great about it, and some people are, you know, they're a little like, some people, it literally only goes two ways. Yes, we can do that. That's fine. I can't believe you're asking for money. Like, how could you do that? Like, this is just a DIY bar. How could you do this to us? You're full of yourself. Fuck off. Like, it's really not a lot of money. Like, I can tell you that it's a 3-digit number, and it is a lot lower than you think. Like, we're not asking for much, and like, we're only trying to break even most of the time anyway. So it's just like, yeah, it can go either way. But like, I've had it where like we've made out really well on our guarantees, and I've had it where we haven't. But sometimes it's worth it to not stress about the guarantee, because a show is just well enough to where, like, I remember when we played Minneapolis last year, we didn't get a lot off of our door, but what they did is they had this tip system set up so that people could tip the bands.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, we sold like a fuck ton of merch, and we made like more money than any guarantee had ever paid us out that night.
Well, let me ask you that on merch. How much does the venue take from you guys?
I've actually never experienced a venue trying to take a cut from us.
Really?
Yeah, I haven't ran into that yet. I don't think we've played big enough shows to do that. Like,
come out the East Coast, they'll fuck you faster than you blink your eye.
That was our last tour.
That was the last tour on the East Coast. I was literally working Maryland Death Fest the day that tour played Wilmington, Delaware at Bar 13, and I was so pissed. I was like,
oh man.
I was like, Darker Days, Evelyn's Casket, on Ronan's show for fucking Splatterfest at Bar 13 the same fucking night as the finale of fucking Maryland Death Fest that I was already committed to because I was working with a band. I was like,
hey man, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, some of the bars will take, like they'll ask for a 20% cut on merch.
I have heard that. Yeah, I wouldn't never do that unless they had a really banging guarantee we agreed on, and that would have to be like a 4-digit one because the money does not come like the money in doing this like that. And when I say the money, I don't mean the like, oh, my money is like, this is what keeps this train moving. Like that is literally the fuel is the money from our merch, not our music or our guarantees. What lets us create new stuff and have new artwork made and have a new mix paid for and have gas put in the tank, like for real, or like the deposit for the van is the merch sales. So it's like, yeah, I just couldn't do that. Not unless they were paying us like a super reasonable guarantee.
Yeah.
But I have heard of that. Like Goolsey was telling me a bit about that, and I was just like, yeah. Like I think the whiskey does that, Whiskey Go Go, and I think House of Blues does that shit too. But
what venue would you like to?
A lot of the Philly venues will do that to you too up here. So just word to the wise.
Oh, okay, all right.
And so it pays to do your homework.
Yeah. I wouldn't doubt it. They would have to get me to sign something before I would agree to let them just take that though, because that's ridiculous. It's like, I don't know, like I feel like the money should come. Like if you can't afford to book us, you shouldn't book us.
Well, my problem is, and a lot of people don't bring it up. You never hear the bartenders going, "Well, let's give the band 20% of our money." I'm like, really?
No.
Because, I never hear them saying liquor sales. Oh, we'll give it to the band. It's already a 300%. And Jay can attest to this, how much liquor sales are upcharged.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like that out here too in Seattle. Like that's usually how most of the venues out here work though. Like granted, I've never played somewhere out here like the Showbox. Like that's like the big venue out here is be like Showbox Soto. But I don't really run into that out here. They make all the money off the liquor sales. That's how they tips and liquor sales.
Here. And Jay will attest to it. Look, but I never hear anybody when they do that. I'm going, wow, you're being a real dick. You're asking a band who's not making shit to give you 20% of their merch.
Yeah. Like especially like if those guys like didn't show up in a rental, leave them alone, man.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pretty much.
Yeah. It's like, dude, leave them be. Like if they couldn't even afford to rent something for this gig, like, dude, just fucking leave them alone.
What venues would you like to play?
What venues would I like to play? I mean, just to be blunt, I really never really cared about. There's never been like a big venue I've ever really wanted to play or anything. Like, there's towns I would love to play. You know what? Actually, Dingbats. That's something cool. I've always wanted to play Dingbats.
Great place.
Nice.
Yeah. That's always been like a little like a little horror punk piece of history, like you're led to believe. That's somewhere I would love to check out. We're getting and being booked by just about any venue. There's a lot of things. What's that guy say?
There's a lot of things that are 100% wrong with getting/being booked by just about any venue.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Yeah, just about all of them got something that's not very cool, but it's like people. There's good ones and bad ones.
Of course.
100% for sure. Bobby, let's kick it over to you again for a little bit, bud.
So, Dave, I'm going to throw this out. Look, I've done a segment in the past And I've done it with people, guitar players, bass players, but you're the horror guy. So I kept going, how can I tweak this episode to Dave of how good do you know your wood?
Oh shit.
Oh, dude. And what I'm going to ask you is not so much of what it is, but who inspired it.
Okay.
So you being the punk guy, this is a great guy. And
1
look,
second, Bobby.
all right. So I'm a skater. And
Okay.
I played with a lot of punk guys. And this is probably got to be the punkiest motherfucker who ever skated ever. And Fender put this guitar out for him. And he is one bad, and he's got a punk band. And it would be The Bomb, is all I'm going to say, from California.
The Bomb from
It might
California.
be in the U.S.
I don't know. Oh, the U.S. Bomber?
Yes!
No. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Dwayne
Yeah.
Peters.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
You know, but
See-
you think about it. I mean, how much skate punk and horror punk go together?
Oh
You
yeah,
know?
definitely. Oh yeah, I would say definitely especially the harmonies that come with skate punk are definitely
Yeah. So
super
we
relevant
talked
in horror
about
punk.
these guys before, they're skaters, and come on.
Oh, that's nice. Oh man, that's so cool.
Well, Bobby,
Man,
you
we
would-
played the Liars Club in Chicago had so much fucking Kiss stuff just all over, just like hand painted like Gene Simmons like themed demons and like that like velvet paintings of Kiss everywhere and all that. Oh, it was so cool.
So
Bobby, real quick, you'd also like this too. When David plays live, he plays an Iceman guitar.
nice. I got my Iceman over there, signed by Paul.
Yeah.
So this
Nice.
is my buddy, great drummer from the Philly area.
Dang.
Jeez.
Probably the punk guy, badass, Chuck Treese.
Okay. Yeah.
Nick Rad, Bad Brains.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Chuck played with, you name it, Chuck was the shit. And then we go to Double D. So this is Dave Duncan. So here's what I'm saying, Dave. What about you doing something like this?
Oh, like a skateboard deck.
Oh, yes. What
Oh.
about it?
You know, we
T-shirts
thought
are great. Skaters love,
I seen those cool like coffin shaped skate decks
dude,
that the Misfits
owns,
did.
my buddy owns Creature.
Oh, badass.
Yeah. So wait here. Where's?
Oh, badass. Suicidal tendencies. Nice.
Yeah. So this is Dogtown did this, and this is Wes Humpstead, and all the guys from Suicidal signed it for me.
Oh, badass.
And look, going back to the original,
Oh, nice.
Wow.
Metallica.
a little bit of Puss Head.
Yeah, they would know for
And
skating.
and then we got to give a nod to Jeff Grasso. Anti-hero, everything. So what I was saying is, you guys are doing a lot of things on that end. Any establishment, anything, and I really think you look at trying to. What about doing? You talked about venues. But dude, what about fucking hitting some of the? You got more fucking skate parks up in your area, from Washington all the way down. Dude, you could fucking.
Yeah. I would love to do some of that in like Orange County. Would be a rad
there's
place to
a
do
lot
that.
everywhere in between, and it's.
We've
if
tried
you
doing
do
things like that.
Ohio, Go to Skatopia, which is like fucking Armageddon in the middle of nowhere.
I know that there was this place in Vancouver, Washington. They used to do that back when I was in high school, and they had like people just kept like skating into the bands and all that while they were playing, and like they tried to like put it on these risers, and then like I think at one point like the stage had like fallen apart from people like playing it and it being skated all the time. And I know there was like one place to try to make it work out here that I knew of back in the day, but they just kept running into all these issues with doing that. And a lot of the outdoor parks don't really do that here because, like, honestly, Seattle is pretty fucking lame. Like, it's very like just like gentrified by tech people that have just
goddamn Kurt Cobain.
Easy. I fucking don't like him either. And it's like fucking, it's just so full of just like techie fucking just prissy fucking bullshit where it's like all of the cool shit is almost completely gone. Our music scene is almost completely fucking gone. Like everyone comes from out of Seattle for those shows in Seattle now. And it's like so fucking lame here. So it's like the farther you get, like to bands out there, if you're looking to play Seattle, play around Seattle. Don't play in Seattle. It fucking blows. Yeah.
You're making Angel's night, dude. An episode of the Metal Summit has not happened yet that Angel doesn't take a stab at grunge and boy bands.
Oh my fucking god, grunge is so... It's not for me.
I mean, grunge was like having a party at summer camp, and you're depressed as fuck on your first day of school.
Well, they're fucking
One thing-
shoegazers. You know, that was
One
the
thing-
great thing.
The only good thing I'll throw out there is Alice in Chains has some pretty cool fucking guitar riffs here and there.
Yeah, but
But
they're
like-
more punk than anything. You know,
If anything, they're more metal.
Soundgarden, you know,
Exactly. I would give them more metal. That's what I would give it. Like they have like such like a Sabbathy like doom vibe to their guitar riffs. Whereas like I would give more punk to like Nirvana,
Yeah.
but I just can't stand Nirvana. So
Yeah,
It's just not for me.
Alice was the band that I took out of the grunge movement because it wasn't for me either. But Alice was the band that I, if anything, kind of kept because that same thing. They had that doomy but that more metally vibe to them. You know, I thought Lane's tone, you know, was ahead of the curve actually. And then, you know, when they played, you know, like the Mega Cruise or Gigantour or whatever that festival was that Megadeth did. You know, they were literally playing to a bunch of metal people. So I was always down for Alice in Chains, but the honestly, the rest of the grunge movement didn't even give me a wiggle down there.
See, I go back to the early days of growing up in the area. And Jay, look, you were a little young puppy back then, but I remember when the Warped Tour started out and everybody, when even in the area, when Good Charlotte, Pennywise, you know, those bands were there. And it's, you know, I'm
Well,
like,
Bobby,
okay.
I am in my 40s, dude. I definitely know those bands very well.
Well, I know, but you were still in diapers at one point.
Not for Good Charlotte. Those dudes were the same age as me.
Well, yeah, that's true. And he's banging what, Paris Hilton right now or whatever it is.
I got a Good Charlotte record in 4th grade.
You know, but I'm saying it's the band Fugazi. I mean, look, I fucking grew up on Fugazi.
Right.
Stuff like that. But here's what I'm saying. I would love to see the horror genre. And I showed you the decks. Hey, man, you're not making the money on the fucking put fucking your on this and fucking have some
make cool merch.
Really?
That's what I like to do.
Oh.
Yeah.
Sell this shit for $80. That's 4 t-shirts.
Hold on, I gotta see that.
Well, there is a guy on the East Coast here, not far from me, that I do know named John, who has his own skateboard company called Aces and Eight Skateboards, and he's done decks for Doyle.
Yeah.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, Zero is doing them for the Misfits if you go on now. And you know what's great? It's not people our age. You're getting 14-year-olds who are gravitating to this shit. And like Matt Porter said, the great thing about horror and not just horror punk or whatever it was. Look, thank God we had fucking Alice, who fucking lit the flame back in the 70s for Kiss.
Oh man.
And the fucking dolls to do the shit. Because if it wasn't for them, you guys wouldn't be doing the shit you're doing today.
Oh hell yeah! But on the note of kids, I actually have like a funny story like with here. So I have some younger siblings that are in grade school and middle school, and they have friends at school that that listen to my band, and they do not believe my siblings that I am their brother, and that they're making it up. And I think it's hilarious because we're not even like a famous thing like that, but their parents, I guess, like listen to us and expect them, and they're like send me pictures of like kids at their schools like wearing our hoodies and all that, which is just like crazy to me because I didn't.
Isn't that great? I mean,
yeah, and I didn't think any kids listened to us. I was like, dang, that's cool. It was cracking me up because I was like talking to my little brother, and I'm like, it's true. They really don't. They don't believe you that you're my brother. He's like, no, it's weird. He's like, and I'm like, they like my band for real? And he's like, yes, David. Kids at school like your band. And I'm like, for real though?
Hey, David, I got to tell you this right now. Everybody loves Christmas, but everybody's like, yeah, I like Halloween. You know, when they get older, they're like going, yeah. Secretly, we all fucking go, yeah, we love Halloween. Halloween's
yeah.
shit, you know?
Fuck yeah. Halloween's hot, man.
Yeah,
everyone thinks Halloween's hot.
It's my niece's favorite time of the year. But the cool thing about Halloween is you can be whatever the fuck you want. And that was the great
anything
thing
you want to do.
About what was it? The crazy world of who was the dude who put fire out? And what was it? 69.
Arthur Brown.
Arthur Brown. When he put it out, I mean, that song scared the shit out of me when I was little. I mean, like, ooh. And that was great. But Alice and everybody, the cool thing about Halloween, everybody goes, oh, it's Satan. I'm going, no, it isn't. You know what it is? It allows you to beat everything that's up here. You can go, fuck it. And you're not weird.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Going back to skateboarding, that was why all this with Tony Alva, with everybody, with Duncan, with fucking US bombs, with going that route. It's all about being a misfit, and nobody gives a shit. It's all about being an individual. So, dude, fucking make a skateboard. I'm telling you, if you put it on your web and you sell 10 of them, you're going to be the best.
I will talk to Jake about that and see if Robot Monsters can't get some skate decks
Everybody
going.
goes, oh, I want to do merch. Dude, you put a couple of them out there, I'll buy one.
Oh, man. Hey, you know what? Actually, well, guys, if you guys can find someone who can actually follow through on printing some booty shorts for us, that would be cool, because we've been trying to find someone to do booty shorts for like 2 years.
So here's my question. I wanted to ask you that one, and I'm going to throw this out. Is it look, a lot of these shows, Metal Fest, you go to hear Slayer, is it a sausage party at your shows?
No, it's pretty balanced, yeah, honestly. I know that our online fan base is like majority of men, but more men are more likely to engage than women, just because more often than not, you know, when a woman engages a guy online these days, it takes like 3-4 messages before horror punk dude's like, look at my dick. Isn't that spooky? And then it's fucking, you know, and then it kills everything. So it's just like, I know statistically, our fan base is pretty 50-50. It's just only a majority of our fan base that actually engages with us is men. But like at shows and in Seattle and all that, you know, it's like, no, it's pretty well diverse, you know, because it's like a lot of the age group that listens to our music is like to be like, you know, the average is dudes in like their mid 20s to their early 40s is like who fucks with this. that's the average age group, and most of those people already have like a partner. So I never know usually who's actually the fan anyway, because it's like they come in couples more often than not.
Well, that's why you were talking about booty shorts. We'll go back to the look. I'm the business guy here. Put a couple booty shorts out, but I'm telling you, these fucking things. You put about 10 of these out, dude.
Man, we were talking to this guy for like a week, and then he just like dropped off the face of the planet. But
fuck him. Go to somebody else.
Well, we had this really cool, like, unique merch idea he had, and he had come to us with it, and we never ended up getting to do it because it's like, well, it was his idea, but he just disappeared. But he wanted to do, he did like laser etching kind of stuff with like metal fabrication, and we were going to do stainless steel Ouija boards. With our our logos on them, and
how many of you're gonna carry around? That's the kind
of
shit
even worse was shipping, because these bitches were gonna be heavy as fuck, and that's what we got hung up on, was the shipping and how we were gonna pull all that off.
It's a limited run, which is great, but shit like this or whatever, having a couple and then you have it as an online store. But I'm telling you, these are the things that. What is it? SoCal Skate Shop. You put them on. Fucking skater. If you put a killer graphic, dude, I don't give a fuck. It'll sell faster than your album does.
Oh, you want the music to get out there, Bobby. You can't listen to a
here's
skateboard.
The whole thing. Then you do this with a CD. Fucking CDs don't cost anything. So you charge $50 for a deck. And you go, oh, for an extra 10, we'll give you the CD. And you go, really?
Yeah, that could be a good one.
Hey, look,
I know. I think the decks are a good idea. I think there's definitely money in that. The problem with us right now is like, because we're still just like, because this is just Evelyn's Casket, because it's like there's two budgets. There's Evelyn's Casket's budget that I work with, and then there's the label's budget. And those are two separate pools of things. The label could probably pull off skateboard decks right now. We could probably
the great thing
talk
is
about doing that.
There's a lot of companies out there now and doing merch where you sign up, you give them your artwork, they put all the merch out, they take a chunk, and you're not paying for shit.
Yeah, I've seen it go either way with those companies. I know some people do it because like our stuff, like the Always Hollow merch, that everything we ever done, I always communicate with our screen printer and like talking, like our guy is like, he only lives a few hours away from me, and I like it that way, because those like pay to print companies like that, where they just like they'll print it and ship it. Literally every piece of merch I've ever gotten from them, their shirts, it's like the print is like some sort of like dry and scrapey, and I have like 5-6 washes before my logo's already just like peeling off of my shirt.
Yeah, but if you do with a local skate company, you'll find somebody. Look around for a couple guys who are pressing boards up in your area. Somebody will do it, and you go, look, hey, we'll take a cut. You do a cut. We'll push your name, and look, they're trying to make a name as a board company. So don't go after the big guy. Go after the fucking little guy who's sitting. You got enough. Look, talk to the local skate heads around. They're not looking at fucking labeled decks. They're not riding fucking Tony Hawk decks. They're riding.
Well, I don't know if you know, but Washington is very, very. We don't have like a huge skateboard culture here, because it's very rainy all of the time here. It's always like wet and snowy. So it's like we only have like 2-3 months out of the year where people can really go do that. It's just like we don't have like a big booming thing here, but like somewhere in like LA or like more like Southern Oregon or San Diego or
everybody skates. I don't care how fucking rainy it is. I've been there are kids that are skating somewhere.
I don't know, man. There's kids out here, man, who like their phone dies, it's over. It's like whole day's ruined.
Okay, maybe do a phone cover. No.
Hey, David, I got you a booty short person.
Woo!
Oh hell yeah, yeah! Shoot them our way.
So I'll send you the info and you can reach out.
Oh hell yeah, I appreciate it.
Or did
My
Eagles-
bestie and her husband literally have a merch company together. So I literally
Oh, that's so awesome.
I literally just got them a text and I was like, hey, I'm live on the show right now, and my guest happened to mention they're looking for a booty short person. Do you have experience in that? Is that something you could do? You sent me back one thing, 100%. I was like, okay.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, we can do that. Hell yeah.
What
Yeah, it's
about
a
hard
funny.
plug butt plugs. I would just say.
We would do it. We would do it in a heartbeat. We would not even flinch.
I
If someone
would love
wanted to
that.
do it,
Like
we would so
Dracula's
do that.
finger
Yeah.
or something, you know?
That's too wacky. So hey,
Just got that glass marble at the end with our
Yeah,
logo
you know,
inside.
yeah.
You can do two in the pink,
like
one in the
like the
state,
skull
whatever.
in the bowling ball of Mystery Men, but it's the Evelyn
Yeah.
Casket phantom inside of a glass.
Yeah, exactly.
That's too.
We'll make it brown just for the plug.
Just yeah.
Little brown ghost. Yeah. That logo was actually, that Phantom logo was intended for booty shorts originally.
Oh, really?
It was just a one-off, like, you know, it was supposed to be like a joke, you know, booty, and there's like a big ghost on it. That was the thing, but we ended up liking the design so much, we ended up just like using it as our new logo, and we moved away from the coffin thing because it's a coffin and not a casket, and I didn't realize that till later, and it just bothered me too much.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
No, for sure, man. I totally get that. So let's steer it back to Evelyn's coffin. I mean, Evelyn's casket. No, absolutely. And then we'll close it out with Angel, with the fans, and all that good stuff. Let's talk about Evelyn's casket real quick, and exactly what you want to talk about, and what you have planned for 2023, and anything that you want to disclose and can disclose.
All right. So what I can disclose, so one of the things I wanted to talk about was the tour, but we just talked about that. So you guys know we have that West Coast tour coming up with that amazing 3-package deal. But what we also are doing right now is we are writing 3 different records right now. So we are simultaneously working on 3 different records. That doesn't mean there's going to be 3 records coming out in 2023, but I can talk about the records and the concepts around them that we are working on right now.
Cool.
On your show. So the first one is one that I've been getting poked and prodded at for a few years now, and we are working on an acoustic album, which will have acoustic versions of songs that have already been released, and it will also have acoustic versions of songs that have not been released. So it's like songs you will hear on this will be alternate versions of, like, you know, it's like this song is intended to be heavy. It just hasn't come out that way yet, like for a later release, but it will be a version of it will be on this record. So like some of it will be acoustic, some of it will be folk, like a folk band setting, and some of it will be just straight up like piano and vocals. And we're really excited about that one. But the game plan for that one is we're hoping to take all the profits from that to be able to do a proper vinyl pressing of Zeromortalplan. So we would like, you know, so that will help fund that. And then the other 2 records we're working on are concept ones. And we don't have like solid names for them yet. But the first one, its working name right now is called Madness, Madness, Madness. And it is a full H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu Mythos themed record. Every song on the record is going to be related to like the Reanimator or like the Mountains of Madness, or, you know, like stories that revolve around the city of Arkham, just all, you know, Cthulhu, all kinds of shit like that. And then the second one will be called Vampires, Vampires, Vampires. Woo! And every song on that record will be about vampires. So, yeah.
Does it suck?
Nope. All gloom and doom with these vampires. Yeah, but they will both feature the so Madness will have a few guests on there, and then Vampires will also have guests on there. And I'm not going to divulge exactly who, but there is a good handful of them are like really prominent names in the horror punk scene right now. And then some of them are some old school cats that haven't done stuff for a while, which I think will be cool to like bring them in the light again for some stuff. But I'm really excited about them because the Cthulhu concept, like Madness, is actually coming out with a bit more emotional songs than I expected. Like, cause like going into that, I thought we were gonna have some. Hey, I had that same guitar. And then,
but is it signed?
here, let me see. I'll get mine. Mine's right here.
I say no.
So mine's oh my god, not good. Mine's kind of like, yeah, I took the mirror pick guard off and then I put some Black Winter invaders on it. I totally just defaced this thing. I took all the Paul Stanley stuff and took it off.
This was a 1983.
I don't know what year this is. This is that Paul Stanley signature, and I was just like, give me that, but I'm gonna cut it up and make it spooky.
You know, if you flip it upside down, it's a Paul Gilbert. It's a fireman.
All right.
No.
Oh, nice. But I'm just really excited for these records just because, like, I don't know, they're just coming out really good. They sound much different. Like, I would compare Madness to something more like, I would say, like, This Addiction by Alkaline Trio. It's like kind of having that kind of vibe as far as the music goes. And then Vampires is coming out more of that, like, a lot of the songs in there are more leaning towards the rock and roll vibe of punk rock rather than like the poppy, like upbeat punk stuff. It's more of just like the, like, this is borderline rock and roll. Like, this is just still angry enough to be considered punk, but it's like got lots of like traditional rock and roll riffs in it, like really punchy, drivey drum beats. Yeah, I'm really excited about them. Yeah. And I'd played a few acoustic versions of the songs that'll be on Madness on a live stream I did on the Evelyn's Casket page last week. But if you are interested enough to know what that sounds like, you can find that on our page.
Yeah, I watched some of that feed, dude. It was great.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, my we had something going. Like, I wanted to go longer, but we were working on some project in the house that had some sort of like chemical to it, and it just fucking zapped my voice after a few songs of just like breathing it in. I was just like, I can't sing any more songs. I don't know what's going on, but yeah.
Oh, that's
so,
awesome.
Dave, what is the average length of a Evelyn Casket song?
Oh man, we got some that are just 2 minutes long. We got some of them that are like 3.5. I think we have this one song called Before We Died, I think is our longest song. And that song's like 4.5 minutes, but we try really hard to just be around 3 minutes if we can help it for a song. We feel like 3 minutes is just plenty for a punk song. But sometimes we just have more to say. So, you know, it needs to be a bit longer. Yeah.
Absolutely, 100% for sure. Angel, let's kick it down to you, man, and let's clear the board. Let's get the fans back involved with David before we allow him to cover any final topics on his end or be able to enjoy his evening.
If you could be in a time machine, where are you going?
If I could be in a time machine, where am I going?
Past, future.
I would either want to go back to like the year 2000 with the knowledge I have, or I would like to go back to the year 1980. And I would steal everyone's music without fucking flinching. I would steal everything from my favorite bands, and I would do that. I would write all of those songs and have an amazing life.
Why not?
Yeah. Glenn Danzig could come join my band. Yeah.
All of a sudden, Evelyn's Casket mother.
Yeah. David Danzig. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Glenn Phantom.
Yeah.
Or you could start a crappy boy band. They make a ton of money for no talent.
Oh, there he goes.
or I could go write Smoke on the Water or Iron Man. Man, I would be. Well, you know what? I feel like never mind. Maybe I couldn't just steal those. Because like I feel like Iron Man wouldn't be great without Ozzy. But
Yeah, that's a good point.
yeah. But yeah, if I had a time machine, I would go back in time and steal all my favorite band's music. Yeah.
And your last question, your favorite movie?
My favorite movie, Frankenstein's Army. I fucking love that movie. It's this badass found footage film that takes place in World War II, where like these Soviet soldiers find Dr. Frankenstein's offspring's like underground lab where he's been making all these crazy like amalgamations of zombie and like machine parts. Like there's this one where it's like this big giant like tank of a human being, and like instead of a head he just has a jet engine with a fan attached, and he just walks into crowds of people. It's fucking insane, but it's so cool. It's such a great concept, and they had like such an awesome sequel planned for it too, but it got canceled. But in my opinion, it is like the best found footage, practical effects, like action and gore film that like exists. I love it so much. That's my favorite movie. Yeah.
So, Dave, I got to ask your opinion on this. You brought up Ozzy. Did you get to see the video yet for Patient Number 9?
No.
Oh my God. Talk about a fucking horror movie classic. Watch it.
All right.
I gotta say, I commend Sharon for doing it, but oh my God, what a great fucking video. It's like, wow, it's Silence of the Lamb meets Dahmer meets fucking Ozzy on acid.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean,
didn't that song also feature our newly departed, unfortunately, Jeff Beck?
yes.
Didn't he play guitar on that song?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yes, he did, Mr. Jeffy.
Yeah.
Damn.
Angel and I were talking off the air about, unfortunately, as we get a little bit older, we're gonna definitely start losing some valuable.
We're gonna be losing a lot of people. And look, David, thank you for paying homage to, look, everybody looks at horror punk. Oh, it's this and that. And Jay, I gotta thank you because it really goes back to the closet of everything we talked about. Arthur Brown. Yeah. It all started with that, who was the dude who did I Put a Spell on You? If it didn't start with shit like that.
Screaming Jayhawking.
Yes.
Yeah.
None of this stuff would be coming out right now. And we laugh and people go, oh, I don't get horror punk. I don't get Kiss. I don't get that. I'm going.
They're just anti-fun.
But really, that's what it is. But if you don't go backwards, you go, wait a second. What do you think somebody's parents from the 50s, you look at Little Richard. Really? He is so not,
Absolutely.
Tutti Frutti is not too much different than what the fuck Dave's doing today.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Angel, do we have anything final on the board, bud?
All good.
All good? Anything final from yourself, my guy?
Nope.
No, I think oh, sorry. My bad.
No, it's all good because it was going to go. It was off, but it was going to go right back up to you, David. Absolutely. If there wasn't anything that you wanted to put out that we haven't already covered, we'd love to hear you talk about it. But we definitely also want to take a second to ask you, for all the fans that are looking, where can you be found? Where can Evelyn's Casket be found?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Spotify, Bandcamp, Apple Music, YouTube, if I haven't already said that. everywhere. Google. You can literally just Google us. We show up. Just Evelyn's
Grindr,
Casket.
Tinder, you know.
We are probably on there. I wouldn't be surprised. I lose myself promoting, so I might have done that on accident at one point. But
I reach around in a show, you know.
Absolutely, 100%. Well,
Yeah.
David, we can't thank you enough, man, for taking some time out of your evening to just talk horror punk, everything that's going on with Evelyn's Casket and Robot Monster Incorporated, man. Like, thank you for answering the email and just being down for the experience. Our big thing is that you had a good time, you felt respected, and you felt this was worth it for you.
yeah, man, I appreciate being asked to come on. You know, like I said, I've watched a good handful of episodes on here when you've had a good chunk of my friends on here. But yeah, maybe sometime I can get Jake to come back on here with me, and I can have him revisit the glory days with you of the era he was a part of.
Anytime, man. I mean, your family
days,
now, you're an alumnus. Anytime, if you have anything that you need to discuss, even if you're like, dude, I just need 5 to 10 minutes just to talk about the album that's coming out like in 2 days. Like, just hit us up.
Yeah.
Man, I got this whole fake story I've been working on about how we've had beef with the Calibres for over 20 years that I'm almost done writing. Maybe I can come on here and finally pitch that.
I think that'd be absolutely awesome. But David, thanks again, man. We really appreciate you. And we look forward to everything that Evelyn's Casket has coming up, and continuing to watch you and you guys grow with Robot Monster. I think that's going to be fantastic, man.
Hey, thank you so much, brother. Appreciate it.
Anytime. Check your messenger. I sent you Mark and Janet's info.
Hell yeah, thanks. I'm going to get in touch with them.
Absolutely, no problem. Metal Summoners, we love you guys. We can't thank you guys enough. This is your show all the time. We try to bring the most fun and flirty and just interesting episodes to you guys. But you watch, you support, and you share. So we're going to continue doing it as long as you guys keep loving us for it. So we really want to thank you guys, Metal Summoners. You guys rock. For everybody, make sure that you're following all of us collectively. You can find Bobby at bobbydreyer.com. You can find Angel at Angel Alamo, both on Facebook as well as on Instagram. And you can find me all over the place as well. Instagram is where I do a lot of my communicating at just a R&R junkie. But you can also find me on Facebook, and I also do a lot of our videos on TikTok and everything like that. So follow the Metal Summit, but definitely follow us on Facebook and YouTube in particular, because that's where these interviews are, and that's where you get to see us talking to cats like Dave. So we really appreciate you guys, rocking with us. We're coming up on the 3-year anniversary, guys, and that's a thing to think about.
Congratulations.
Excited about that. But thank you so much, Summoners. We will see you soon. Guest announcement at the end of the week, as always. And a week from now, on next Wednesday, we will see you guys live again for another bitchin' episode. We look forward to it. We're going to have a lot of fun. But again, on behalf of the Metal Summit, for Angel Alamo, for Bobby Dreyer, and for myself, again, thank you so much to David Phantom and to the Evelyn's Casket Camp for joining us this evening. And make sure that you're supporting him and them and everything that they've got going on. So we will see you guys in a week. In a week. Have a great weekend. Be good to each other. Horns up, fangs out. We love you guys. As always, you've been watching the Metal Summit.
Yeah.